time to see what the wizards are up to.
Hey everyone. Hope you had a happy Halloween weekend.
We had fun.
Rob was a wise wizard.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to post a pic on social media. You made a really good wizard, Rob. You really did. I actually got him a beard wig, but his beard looked better than the beard wig. So. And it was called the Wise Wizard.
I need to grow this
Wig
longer
and
for the costume next year.
Yeah. So we have lots of cool stuff to share. We are going to be sharing some Sorcerer Endbringer and Heroes Dungeon spoilers.
Got
and
the Barbarian to spoil.
If you are a Robot Quest Arena backer, Rob just posted an update before we jumped on this call. So we'll chat a little bit about that too. So first, we will just cover a couple of quick marketing things. So our current giveaway is a Hero Realms playmat. I love this piece of art. This is the Command playmat. And I'm not sure how you enter. So Saf, if you can comment below. We have changed more to a model where you just need to like or do various things on social media to enter a contest. So Saf, if you can put the details below, that would be super helpful. These are worldwide giveaways, so no matter where you live, please, go ahead and enter if this is something you'd be excited about. The playmats really help with setup in terms of knowing where to put everything and just quickly being able to lay it out. And they look cool, really cool on the table, and they're really high quality. And then congratulations for last week. Raphael O won the Sorcerer expansion, Sylvani Virgilio and Blood-Soaked Fjord. Thank you, Rob. We need Peter on here to pronounce these things. So sorry, Peter, I didn't get the pronunciation right. Expansion packs, all super awesome. Sorcerer, the art is just amazing, as you can see with this piece of art. So congrats to Raphael for that.
Yeah, and the gameplay in all the Sorcerer packs is so awesome. Like, very thematic, beautiful artwork, and it really just adds a ton to play. And one of the nice things about Sorcerer is when you get an expansion pack and you're playing with it, you really feel it. Like in some games, like you'll get an expansion pack, you mix it into the set, and maybe the stuff doesn't come up that much during the game. But with Sorcerer, those cards are in your personal deck, and you've got that card on the table that you get to use every single turn. So when you're playing with new stuff, it really you feel it, and you get that experience throughout the game. So all the expansion packs are awesome for Sorcerer. Those three are cool, but Peter did an amazing job on every single expansion pack. I'm especially excited about the new packs that are coming out for Endbringer. A lot of Kickstarter exclusive packs. Those are up on Tabletop Simulator, and we're getting additional content up there, which we'll be talking about in a minute.
Yeah.
So Robot Quest Arena, so things are moving along nicely with the Robot Quest Arena. We're working with the factory on miniature samples. All of our work with the factories is a little slow right now. They're not as quick and responsive as we would like, but we are moving the ball forward on miniature samples. We'll hope to get those soon. These are basically, so we made prototypes, but prototypes we made, we're not using the mass production techniques. And we want to make sure that the minis that come in the game are just as nice as the prototypes that we had made. So basically we're working with the factory, getting their production techniques down, and we're gonna get samples of these miniatures. And it may be that on the first pass they're not good enough and we send it back, etc. So that process is sort of a mystery on how long it takes, but we're going for the end result of those awesome looking minis like you saw in the Kickstarter video. So we're working on those. Rulebook, the guys at Perfect Day finished up the rulebook. Now we still going to be doing little tweaks to it, like credits and that sort of thing, but all the contents of the rules are there. We posted a backer update on Robot Quest Arena with that. So if you are so inclined, we'd love it if you want to download that rule book, read through it, see if does it make sense to you. Or do you have any questions when you read it? Does it is everything clear? And any did he misspell something? Is it basically any feedback you have, we'd love to get so we can make the rule book better. Our next step that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing it's called blind play testing. Basically, play testing with people who have not played the game before, haven't seen the game. We're not going to tell them how to play. We're going to give them a prototype, and we're going to hand them this rule book, and we're going to see, can they set it up? Can they play through a game? Where do they get stuck? So we can make any improvements we need to the to the rules and get make sure things are clear. And then once we have the minis sorted and such, we'll be submitting all the files to the printer for production. So basically, the paper stuff, the cards, the boards, etc. That's pretty quick. The minis, that's a harder process. So basically, we've been working on the minis with them for a while, and we're trying to get everything moving along so everything's going to be ready at the same time.
And if you want to enter our giveaway,
nice.
I now know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
The mystery is solved.
Which is Wise Wizard Games. The name. If you just search Wise Wizard Games on YouTube, it'll pop up. Or here's the link here. But if you subscribe, if you're already subscribed to our YouTube channel, thank you. You are already entered. So we'll select from our subscribers on the YouTube channel. So thanks. But yeah, I'm very excited. I kind of want to go to the play testing sessions, but the whole point is that people are going to play without us there to tell them how to play.
No, we will. Obviously, we'll have a Wise Wizard Games staff members there taking notes, seeing where people get stuck. And if, obviously, if they get completely stuck, we'll tell them, okay, this is how you move forward and, get the data on that. But yeah, so we're excited with our progress on Robot Quest Arena. We can't wait to get that one to you guys. Beautiful game. You can see it behind Debbie there. It's a really fun game. Awesome components, and we're super excited about it.
And we have a question from Brain Games. This might be an optical illusion, but it looks like the Star Realms big box above our heads looks much larger than the Hero Realms.
So basically, that is the old Star Realms storage box. So basically, when we're designing the original Star Realms storage box, I was very concerned about it being sturdy enough, and one of the ways we made it sturdy was having very thick interior walls between the rows of cards, and that worked. But it was a little wasteful on production materials and such. And we also have these oversized cards in Frontiers and such. And I thought it would be nice to have a storage area for those. So we ended up on our redesign of the storage box, making the walls still thick. They're like the very outer sturdy material stuff, but there's like a cross little wall in the middle row that separates out an area for the oversized cards, and that makes it much structurally stronger because it's got this connection point partway through, which basically allowed us the same level of sturdiness without the walls being so thick. So it reduced the amount of trees we needed to kill to make the box. This basically both of the Hero Realms storage boxes, Epic and the Star Realms you see behind us, all have the exact same interior space. It's just that that old Star Realms one has thicker walls. The amount of area to store actual cards is the same. So the new Star Realms one is the same size as the Epic and the Hero Realms one. So if you order now, you will most likely get one that is the same size as the Epic and Hero Realms ones, and they are quite big. Still, just the old one was slightly larger, but sturdiness wise and storage space wise, the new design is basically equivalent to the old.
Thank you.
All right. So
there was another follow-on question that from Amadeus. Not sure if will the Heroes new expansion box be bigger than the original game?
yeah. So basically, Hiram's Dungeons is going to be a big box set. You can see the behind Debbie in my head. We got the new Star Realms box. This is a box designed for retail, which has the base set and the Gambit set, and it's got storage areas inside, etc. So it's sort of a mid-sized box. The new Heroes Dungeon box will be a little bit bigger than that one, so basically same height, but a little wider. And it's going to have a significant amount of content in that box set. It'll have a 80 card market deck. It'll have enough fire gems to support a 6-player game. It'll have 4 generic starting decks. It'll have the Barbarian and the Alchemist character packs, and it has a 12-part solo/cooperative dungeon adventure, kind of like the Ruin of Thandar series stuff, but a new adventure. All that content will be in the Dungeons box, so it'll be a big box, and it'll be a $60 box. You could take this stuff out of there and put it into the universal storage box if you've got one and you prefer to put all your stuff in there, or you can keep it in there. It'll have nice storage areas designed into it, just like the Star Realms box does. So yeah, it'll be the new Heroes box will be a larger one, and it'll be a place where a player can basically get all the different play of Heroes in one place. The PvP for 2 to 6 players, the solo play in the campaign, and the cooperative play through the campaign, all in that one box set. And of course, compatible with all our other Hero stuff.
Thanks. So next we'll talk about Sorcerer.
Yeah. Okay.
Want to see some spoilers?
So we have all the design for Endbringer stuff is done. We're putting these guys all up on Tabletop Simulator. I know we had our programmer was working on that this last weekend. I'm not quite sure whether that's ready to up or it's going to need a few more days, but basically we're working on getting all those things up. And we just did last week we did an update showing off Zernabach. So this is one of the nemesis of the evil demigods you can battle against. And this guy's really cool. Basically, gigantic. He's just toweringly massive. You can see some like a sorcerer falling like between his thumb and his finger. You can see a body falling. So this guy's really big, and it's got tons of tentacles coming off him. And basically, he's coming back from his exile and is laying waste to the world, starting with you in London. We have every one of these nemesis have different play styles. So there's different mechanics with each one, and that really gives a ton of replayability and unique play experiences with each nemesis. And of course, you'll combine those with different archetypes, which give them different armies that they control, and you can also combine in different scenarios. So in classic Sorcerer faction, the replayability is insanely high. So Zernabach has this rubble mechanic. So basically, he's destroying the city, and there's basically ruins everywhere as he's going through. To simulate this with game mechanics, each player has a rubble pile at the beginning of the game. You take the top card of your deck and you put it in this face-up rubble pile, and as various effects in the game will generate more rubble, and when you generate rubble, you'll take the top card of your deck and add it to that rubble pile. And basically, each turn you're going to take damage based on how much rubble there is. And there's some other effects that will reference the rubble. And there's also some special counters that you'll be using. There are the Tentacle Counters. So these represent the tentacles, the Zernabok's tentacles that are winding through the city and coming up through the sewers and just, are everywhere. And then there are Shadow Fiend counters. So Zernabok basically absorbs his victims, pulls them in with the tentacles and pulls them into his body, and basically traps their souls within him. Their souls can't escape. And basically, over time, the souls that he's absorbed become subservient to him, and he can basically release them, and they do his bidding. So during the battle, he'll be like releasing these souls, and they will be attacking the players. So the Tentacle Counters get put onto battlefields through various effects in the game, and they basically work as shields. So basically, when you deal damage in a battlefield, you can't damage Zernabok himself, and you can't damage any of his minions until the tentacles are gone. So as you deal damage, you'll be removing those Tentacle Counters, and that will basically prevent the damage. So it makes it harder to take out his stuff. And then the Shadow Fiend counters, basically these things like these spirits like rush out, attack quickly. So basically, occasional effects will have you add a Shadow Fiend counter to a minion in an enemy minion in a battlefield, and basically minions with Shadow Fiend counters get to attack before all the other attacks in that battlefield. So if there's 2 minions with Shadow Fiend counters, let's say the players are going to get to attack first in the battlefield. First, those 2 minions with the Shadow Fiend counters get to attack. Then the players choose a minion to attack. Then Zernabok's minion attacks back and forth. So basically, the minions with Shadow Fiend counters get to like jump the priority and attack first. So basically, you can end up taking some big hits before any of your guys get to go. If minions have those Shadow Fiend counters, each in addition to these special game mechanics, each of the bosses, each nemesis has their own deck, and this deck controls all the elements of the gameplay. So whenever whenever a player takes an action, it's immediate. The Zernabok also gets to take an action, and his action is determined by flipping over the top card of the Nemesis deck, and the text on the top tells you what happens when that card's flipped over. So, for example, Breed of the Night, when he takes this action, you spawn the top minion from the archetype deck. So what army you're facing is a separate deck that comes from the archetype that you choose. So you might have, for example, the undead archetype, and in that case, you'd take a minion from that deck, flip it over, you'd weaken it until it has 1 essence remaining. So if it normally had like 3 essence, it'd be down to 1, and you put a Shadow Fiend counter on it. So this represents Zernabok releasing one of those souls to wreak havoc. So that's how you deal with an action from the Nemesis. Then you can see the card types. This one's a sorcery. So that's one where it just does what it says and then goes to the discard pile. There's flavor text in the middle. Then below that is an icon which has a color on it. When a minion in a battlefield where Zernabok is present, and the Zernabok is so large, he'll be in 2 battlefields at once. When a minion in one of those battlefields attacks, they get a tactic based on the archetype. So you'd flip over this card. It would show you it's red. You'd look at the archetype, your oversized archetype card, and it would have icons on it and tell you what tactic bonus the minion gets from when the red shows up. So basically, there'll be a variety of different tactics that they get. And then finally, you'll see on the bottom that's the critical effect. So basically, when players damage the Zernabak directly, basically there's these monoliths that are allowing the demigod to stay in our dimension, and you're attacking those, dealing damage to those. When you do damage to one of those with a critical hit, you get a bonus effect. So you flip over the top card of the Nemesis deck, and you read the text on the bottom that tells you what critical bonus. So in this case, you get to destroy a non-legend enemy minion. So basically, just kill an enemy minion in that battlefield. So basically, these cards do a lot of work. They control all aspects of the game. So here you can see another one, and of course, each one has their own mechanic, own flavor text, and a different critical effect. And they can be any of 4 different colors for what effect happens when they do a tactic. So that's what we have coming to Tabletop Simulator. We'll let you guys backers kick the tires on it for a little bit. Give us feedback, and then we are basically ready to go to print on the Endbringer stuff. Everything's done. It's just a matter of letting you guys all do a little bit of try it out a little bit on Tabletop Simulator. Anybody who wants, any backer who wants to, and then we'll be incorporating that feedback and going to print.
We had a question about the Dungeons deck in here.
Sure.
Would you recommend to play that on its own or mixing it with the base game market deck? What are your thoughts?
So this is entirely up to players. It is designed to be able to mix in. It is just like Colony Wars or Frontiers for Star Realms, where basically you can play Colony Wars on its own, or you can play Colony Wars with the base set, or the base set on its own, mix and match any way you want. This will be the same thing with the dungeon set. So basically, you can play Dungeons on its own, or you can mix it with the main market deck. I personally will be mixing them together for most of my play, but you can totally play it on its own. Either way is fine.
Sorry, Rob, I'm turning my phone off. It's very distracting. And some people wanted to see more spoilers for Hero Realms Dungeons.
Well, we have spoilers coming in a minute. And here you can see we've got 6 new characters coming in Dungeons. The Kickstarter will feature all 6 of these characters. The Necromancer is Kickstarter exclusive, so if you want her, that's something you'll get back in the Kickstarter. The Alchemist and the Barbarian will come in the box set. So if you all backers will get those, and if you back at the higher level, you'll also get the 4 additional characters: the Druid, the Bard, the Monk, and the Kickstarter exclusive Necromancer. So we're super excited about all these new characters. They're awesome. And in a minute, I'm going to show off the Barbarian, who's very cool. But first, I wanted to talk about a change we're making to our how we approach Kickstarters, which is going to affect when we do the Hero Realms Kickstarter. We're going to be pushing the Hero Realms Dungeons Kickstarter back into 2022. This is not going to change the date that we are fulfilling to backers, or when the game's in retail. Basically, we're changing our how we handle Kickstarters from doing the Kickstarter when close to the end of design. What we have been doing is designing a new game, doing a bunch of art and etc. for it, and being at the point where we've got the design pretty close to done, but we might still make some design changes. And before we've really delved into the development process. So basically in development, we'll be doing a ton of tons and tons of exhaustive play, balancing all the elements, etc. One of the big advantages of doing things that way is we could get feedback from backers in the Kickstarter and then incorporate that into the game itself. Like, oh, it'd be cool if we had this mechanic or this thing. And some of those ideas were awesome, and we'd incorporate them in, and that was a really big positive. On the negative side, we are perfectionists, and we will change if we come up with ideas that make the game better, change the design to make the game better. We're pretty much going to do them every time, and that can really slow things down. Some examples of that in Hero Realms, when we did the Kickstarter, we had the Rune of Thandar campaign, was going to be like, I think it was like 70 or 80 cards, and basically we had these core mechanics, and we knew how it was going to work, and we played it and was like, yeah, this is good, we like it. And so we did Kickstarter with it, and we had the art and everything for it. And basically we decided that we came up with some different designs that made it cooler, but it had a lot of card content. We ended up deciding, you know what, we were basically using one piece of artwork for all the skills and abilities, and we were like, you know what, it'd be way cooler if each skill and ability had its own unique piece of artwork. So we ended up like doubling the number of cards and massively adding to the quantity of artwork in it. And we didn't charge backers anything for this, but that kind of stuff slows things way down. And we did similar things with Sorcerer, and basically it's something that happens. Kapow, it happens on many of our Kickstarters where we're like, you know what, we've come up with these new things, we're tweaking the design, and that that adds to our runway. So it's a big mystery element. Okay, a big unknown is how long that process takes, because basically when you design something new, you got to do development on it. Oh, maybe that didn't work, you got to go back and tweak. And so basically that was sort of a big mystery of a big X factor on how long it would take to get stuff out. And we're very upfront about it in our risks and challenges sections on the Kickstarter. We're like, hey, look, the estimated date is just an estimate. If we can change things to make the game better, we're gonna. This may delay getting games out. So so that's a thing that we just have had as an existing weakness of our system, where we know we've got this X factor in there, could take things longer. As a lot of you probably know, production and fulfillment, international shipping is crazy right now with the fallout from COVID. And that has created a massive X factor in both production and in shipping on how long things will take. With both of those X factors, we're not sure how long it'll take us to finish the design, and this production and shipping thing, that's just too many unknowns for us to come up with a reasonable guesstimate on when things are going to be ready. Basically, our fulfillment dates, on Kickstarters would become, we have no freaking idea. And that's obviously not okay. So what we've decided to do, given this new environment, is wait till, instead of doing the Kickstarter at the end, near the end of design, at the beginning of development, where we can still change design, we're going to move it to the end of development. So basically, it'll be much closer to files going to the printer. So that will remove a big X factor on how long things will take. There will still be dealing with, for I'm not sure how long, the X factor of how long production stuff's going to take. So as far as what we're doing internally, nothing's changing. We're continuing to work on the Hero Realms dungeon stuff, just as if we were before. But we've decided to wait on actually doing the Kickstarter instead of doing it now, where we're basically near the end of design. We're going to move it to the end of development. I can't tell you exactly when that's going to be, because that's one of those X factors we talked about, but it's going to be 2022. So hopefully early in 2022, but it might be a little bit later in the process. And that will allow us to have a much shorter window between when the Kickstarter finishes and when we ship stuff to backers. Of course, keeping in mind that we don't know how long the factory production and the shipping portions are going to take in the current chaotic environment. So, all right.
I also want to add that we will be continuing to share spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll actually probably see more spoilers than normal, which is, I think, is great because we'll be farther along in the process. Yeah. So, and on that note, we're going to share some today. And I know a couple of people have asked questions. We'll go through these spoilers and then I will answer all the questions that have come up. So yeah. Thanks.
All right. So this is the Barbarian. The Barbarian is a up close and personal fighter, very high health, 62 health, which is obviously the highest in that we have in Hero Realms. But this is the Barbarian's gonna need that extra health because of the berserker fighting style that the Barbarian uses. So the skill card for the Barbarian is a unique card that's different from all the other skill cards we have. This skill card actually uses both sides in this. So normally you have the PvP version on one side and the campaign version on the other side. These cards are identical for PvP and for campaign play. And we use both sides for the mechanics in the game. So the Barbarian has at level 1 has the Inner Rage skill card, and for 2 gold, you can, and expending this card, you can go berserk. And when you go berserk, you're going to draw 2 cards, and you're going to flip this skill card over, and it'll still be expended. And when you've done that, you are in the berserk. You're berserk, and you will remain berserk. And certain of your cards will get bonuses while you're berserk. However, being berserk does have a drawback. Hop to the next slide here. So when you are berserk, you're gonna, you got to draw those extra cards that turn, and a bunch of your cards are going to get bonuses. However, every single turn you're berserk, at the end of your turn, you're going to lose 4 health. This represents the Barbarian's non-defensive combat style. So you're running right in there, swinging around, not really worrying too much about defending yourself. You're going to take a lot of extra damage when fighting like that. So at the end of every single turn while you're berserk, you're going to be taking 4 points of damage. Now, you can pay 2 gold and expend your Inner Rage card while you're in berserk status to calm down. When you calm down, you flip the card over and it remains expended, and then you're ready to go berserk again on a future turn. Keep in mind, when you went berserk, the card was expended and it stays expended. So basically, you cannot calm down the same turn that you go berserk. You're going to be berserk for at least that turn. You're going to be taking that 4 points of damage. But you can calm down on future turns. So speaking of some of your cards getting better, we can take a look at the Barbarian has one of the cards they have is the Hand Axe. Actually, has 2 hand axes, and Hand Axe is a melee weapon that does 2 points of gives you 2 points of combat. But if you're berserk, it gives you 4 points of combat instead, making it the highest damage base deck card, even better than the fighter's longsword while you're berserk. When you're not berserk, it hits more like a short sword for the 2 points of damage. Another card in the Barbarian deck, Plunder. This is an action card that gives you a gold. So basically, it's like a gold in your deck. However, when you're berserk, you gain additional gold. So basically, this thing's worth 2 gold while you're berserk. Another card in your deck is the Headbutt card. headbutt gives you a 1 point of combat, and if your berserk causes your opponent to discard a card. And then finally, I'll show you Battle Roar. So this is your level 3 ability. When you sacrifice this, you can choose to either stun a champion or have target opponent reveal their hand and discard a card of cost 1 or more. So a pretty effective discard that's gonna hit a card with cost. And if you're berserk, you get both. When you do this, you get both effects. So there are a lot of cards in the Barbarian's deck that will be stronger when you're berserk. So when you're playing the Barbarian, you want to think about when you're berserk, when you're calm. You can sort of get some extra advantage by, like, you can go berserk 1 turn, play your cards that have bonuses while you're berserk. Then on your next turn, you can play cards that have bonuses while you're berserk, and then after you play them, then pay to calm down. So you'll still get that bonus for being berserk as long as you play that card before you calm down. So yeah, that is the Barbarian. Is really fun to play. It has, it's, while this is a combat class, it's a significantly more challenging to play than the fighter, because you're managing your berserk, when you're berserk, when you're not berserk status. But still, but still in the Hero Realms difficulty level, it's not of a pretty easy game to play. So yeah, that's the Barbarian. We've shown you. So now you've seen the Alchemist and the Barbarian, the 2 characters that come in the base box set, and over the coming months, we'll be showing off the other characters: the monk, the barbarian. The monk, the druid, the Kickstarter exclusive necromancer, and the bard. All of which have fun new mechanics that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a question if the druid was going to have a cool new mechanic. There'll be lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
druid's got a very cool thing going on. I think you guys will like it.
I love the druid. So let's see. We had a question, and I think it got answered here. But how big did you say the box was for Hero Realms Dungeons?
So so basically, it'll be about 11 by 11 ish. So it'll fit nicely in a Kallax. But it's going to be way bigger than like the Hero Realms base set or Rune of Thandar or anything like that. Smaller than the Adventure Storage box. But yeah, it'll be a sizable game. MSRP is going to be, I believe, $60 for the $59.99 for Hero Realms Dungeons, and it will be a complete 6-player game for PvP purposes, and you'll have everything you need to play 1 or 2 players through a 12-part campaign adventure, and you'll have all the stuff you need to level up the Barbarian and the Druid to all the way up to max level, level 24. So you'll be able to play like legacy style PvP where you battle with your friend and you guys each level up between games, and you'll be able to play regular 2 to 4 player PvP using generic starting decks. You'll be able to play 6-player Emperor, where 1 team is led by the Alchemist, 1 team is led by the Barbarian, and you'll be able to play 1 to 2-player solo cooperative. And you can also, if you have other character packs, you can play the campaign with up to 5 players in your party. And it will be backwards compatible with the existing characters. So if you own the Thandar series, and you have, let's say you got you like playing the Wizard, and you've got the Rune of Thandar, you got the Wizard pack, you got Rune of Thandar, you've got the Lost Village. You can take the magic items from the treasure cards from those and the skill cards from those and your Wizard pack, and you can bring all that over and you can play the wizard through the dungeon adventure that will be in Hero Realms Dungeons as part of your party. So basically, or conversely, you could take the any of the new characters and take the character and all their skill tree and their treasures, and you could play them through the Thandar series if you want to. So basically, you'll be able to mix up your party any way you want.
Great. Thanks, Rob. Oh, we had a question from Joel. Hi, Joel. Will the box, I know you may not know the answer to this, but do you think you would be able to fit all the other character classes in the box?
So we're going to try and design it so you could fit the currently available characters in, but at the very least, they'll have enough for all the ones in the Kickstarter. We're going to try and have room for for all the characters we currently have out. But of course, over time, who knows how many characters we'll end up making eventually. So at some point you may exceed. And it's not designed to be a everything storage box like the adventure storage box. It's designed to hold dungeons, content, and your characters. So yeah, that's so if you want to hold all your Hero stuff in one place, grab the adventure storage box, but you'll be able to hold certainly your campaign play stuff for the Dungeons campaign all in that Dungeons box set.
And if you would like to get email updates with spoilers and cool stuff, you can sign up at herorealms.com/dungeons. Saf can post the link below. But yeah, we talked earlier that the date is going to be pushed into 2022, but we're going to continue to roll out spoilers. So we share them here on the stream, but we also have been doing emails out to that list as well. So thanks to everyone who joined that already. And let's see, we have a couple questions that are not related to Heroes. Sure. Nova Collection. Do you have an update on Nova Collection?
So sort of. Basically, the factory was supposed to ship out to us at the end of last week. Our pre-production proof that got delayed. I believe it went out yesterday or is going out today. Basically, they printed everything, but it needed to dry a little more before they could ship it. So we've been harassing the factory,
eagerly awaiting
on a regular basis
our packages.
Yeah, so basically, fingers crossed, they're going to be giving us tracking information today, and hopefully that would mean end of this week, beginning of next week, getting the sample. But I'm not counting those chickens until we have it in hand. Yeah. That'll hopefully awesome. Next Tuesday. Now, my expectation is, because it's our, the first, pre-production proof, my expectation is there will be something in it that I don't like and want to fix. And which will mean, okay, tell the factory, okay, change this thing and then get another sample. But if we get really, really lucky and everything is perfect, we can then say to the factory, start production. And they, and basically the factory can start doing the, basically start churning out the copies that we'll be shipping to backers. But my expectation is, hey, in this round we'll see something we want to tweak. But we are the light is at the end of the tunnel. The pre-production proof is sort of the last stage before going to print. It's our last chance to catch anything we want to tweak. So yeah, that's where we're at. Hopefully, and obviously we'll update the Kickstarter page when we have the pre-production proof. The likely update will be, here's the pre-production proof. We like these things. We don't like those things. We're going to make these changes, but who knows? Maybe we'll get super lucky and be and everything will be perfect on their first crack.
I cannot wait to get my hands on that.
Yes,
and we are planning to go to PAX Unplugged, so we can bring some of the will card samples there too.
Yeah. So if you'll be at PAX Unplugged, we can show off some of those things there.
Let's see. There was a question about dice. Where was that? So I think this is a question for the community, but does anyone choose to roll Star Realms faction dice to randomly choose a command deck or other choices?
So one of our backers actually gave us at one of the shows a printed, like 3D printed dice with the 6 different faction combo icons on the die. Super cool. And that could be used for randomizing which faction. Obviously, you can do a less cool version of that by just assigning a number to each of the factions. But yeah, the 3D die was was pretty sweet.
Cool,
printed die was sweet.
Yeah, if other people do things like that, let us know. You can post in the comments here. So this is a Heroes question. Do we have any plans to expand the Ancestry cards in the Dungeons campaign?
So we do not have any additional Ancestries that will be coming in this Kickstarter. So this Kickstarter will feature the 6 new classes. So the character packs for those. For each of those, there'll be an adventure deck which will contain the skill tree and all the 20 treasure cards that they could get on their journeys through campaigns. And the dungeon set, which will have a new 80 card market deck and that 12-part dungeon encounter. It'll also have the ability to add on the Watery Graves, the 3rd installment of the Rune of Thandar campaign, and of course Kickstarter promos. But we will not have additional Ancestries or additional boss decks in this particular Kickstarter. However, that's areas which we'll be exploring, in the future. So basically, in future Kickstarters, you may see more Ancestries, you may see more boss decks. And of course, we've got the Hero Realms digital app out there, which is currently in beta. Super fun, and you can really enjoy and see the leveling play in Hero Realms and improving your skills, finding new treasures, leveling up your character over time. So all this stuff that we're making for paper is eventually going to migrate into the digital app as well.
Awesome. So we have a question about Robot Quest Arena. So will it be possible to buy the extra Robot Quest Arena characters as add-ons?
I'm not sure if I understand this
question.
I
think there was 2 tiers, and the upper tier had additional
robots.
Right. So can they just add on a robot, but not?
I believe the answer to this one is, as Debbie says, you can upgrade your tier, but you can't buy just one. That is largely a logistics question. So basically, we've held off on the pledge manager for Robot Quest Arena because of the crazy shipping situation right now. But when we do put that out, you'll be able to add on various things. Whether or not you can add on individual characters will basically be a logistics question, because the more options we have,
I'm going to say, it gets very, very complicated. So a lot of times we pre-build the tiers, so it just makes it a lot easier to get everyone their pledges. When we start offering any variety of those, it gets a lot more complicated. Our other existing inventory, they already have set up in the warehouse when the Kickstarter stuff arrives. So that kind of thing they can prep ahead of time. So we have a little more flexibility.
So the likely answer will be in the future, when you're backing other Kickstarters, you'll be able to add on those individual ones. But for this Kickstarter, you're either getting all the add-on robots or none, or not getting the add-on robots.
Yeah, I think.
But you can you will be able to upgrade to get all of them if basically if you were in just the box set and you want to go jump up to the higher level, you'll be able to do that in the pledge manager.
Yeah, so we always have the ability to upgrade, and also I know we always get the question of, can you buy an additional tier for a friend in the pledge manager? And you can buy additional tiers as well if you, for whatever reason, want additional copies. So I thank you for the question. I think we're at the end of our questions, but if I missed anyone's question, pop it in here. If anyone has a last second burning question. We had some great questions from some new people that haven't been asking questions before. So it's very nice to see you.
And just a lot of super exciting stuff for today's thing. The Zernabach is super cool for those who are here, for our Sorcerer players. very excited about getting the Barbarian in the hands of our Hero Realms players. So
Me too.
tons and tons of cool stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
everyone. Bye.